I'll go over this in more of my teachings, but you know, drawing is more thinking than actual drawing. There's a lot of knowledge usually going into all of these sketches and lines, and decision making becomes much better, but overall just staying pretty loose. Always going in about the kind of the underwire armature of it all. This is really nothing planned, by the way, just kind of doodling and just messing around with kind of getting back into recording and stuff. Is not the ideal camera setup. This. And like the latest like swimming series I've been doing is really all just this, you know. But always just think about movement more than everything, and it's never always perfect. You know, that's what makes it art. Art is not meant to be perfect. But there's a certain amount of believability in the sketches because of all the knowledge that you can attain over the years through studying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like, what kind of pose are you thinking about doing it when you're starting? Honestly, not really much. I'm just kind of trying to find an interesting element of movement, honestly. And keeping the silhouettes alive. And with the recent series I've been doing, I'm really thinking about like the composition on the page. Put a nice flow in here, right? Interesting little. And then I might go in because I was kind of thinking more along the lines of tigers. Let's see if I have a brush pen handy. If you saw my desk, you would laugh because there's just stuff everywhere. So just like kind of thin micron pen. It really doesn't matter what you draw with. Everyone's like, "Oh, what pen did you use? What is that? Can I draw like that if I use that pen?" Sorry, I'm not just like, it's not because I'm just having fun with it. But the reality is that it really doesn't matter. You just, if anything, you should not get used to one medium per se. I'm like looking over the camera, so this is kind of hard for me. I think one time as an experiment, I'm just gonna like draw with like a stick and mud because it shouldn't be about the utensils. It's about the knowledge. Okay. I don't like the silhouette on that one, but far cry from my best. But just figured I'd show you guys a couple approaches. And then this one is just a pit pen I'm using. I'm just grabbing whatever was around me. Each time I go back in, by the way, I'm not going over same lines. I'm adding something to it. So one thing with this type of loose drawing, you want to add to it. You don't want to just kind of beat up and go over one line over and over again. And I'm using the stripes to help design the form a little bit more. Letting the lines finish off the volumes. And stripes, I should say, finish off the volumes. I'm also kind of getting back and used to recording because the plan is to do another course that will cover something a little more along the lines of this type of drawing. And kind of, well, I don't want to give out too much, but showing how it applies to different trade crafts in the industry. So not just drawing for the sake of learning to draw like this. It's applicable to something that's a marketable, employable craft. Now, for me, I've drawn enough tigers and studied them enough that I don't have to. I'm not really looking at any reference, but that's why I always post that there was no reference used. When you've studied enough things from life, you can actually start to draw it out of your head. But you're only as good as your best reference, so it's always good to go back and kind of refresh your visual vocabulary. There's not enough asymmetry in these stripes in general, but it is a very small area that I'm working, so I'm just kind of using it more of like an interesting, harmonious design when I can, right? You can see, I mean, here's the size of my thumb, so you can see that they're not very big. Anyway, hope that was fun for you to watch. I'll do more soon. Cheers.